Welcome to Fashionista Activista, the podcast where style meets activism. I'm your host, Diaz, and in each episode, we'll dive deep into the inspiring journeys of women business owners in Los Angeles, with a special spotlight on women of color. Join us as we celebrate the power, diversity, and creativity of underrepresented Latin women, youth, and queer communities through their captivating conversations and high-quality content. Welcome, all of you fashionistas, activistas. We're back, and I have the most amazing guest, and I'm not biased, but I've known Lucy Thompson since middle school, and we have some great memories of great times together. But I invited Lucy Thompson today because she is a true fashionista activista. She's going to talk about her journey from fashion to entrepreneurship through now a big restaurant that she's going to talk about. She's going to share. Lucy, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, for taking time out of your busy schedule from all your businesses to be here.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit, before we dive into the business part, tell us a little bit about your background, your family, your roots, your culture, and your experience here in El Sereno, growing up, strong Chicana.
Of course. And I just want to say, you met me when I was Lucy Ramirez.
Yes,
from
Ramirez.
El Sereno. We were in El Sereno Junior High School. And it's been an amazing opportunity to grow up in El Sereno and be a part of LA and be close to downtown LA and having access to just so much culture and so much richness. And it's just been amazing.
Yes. And you're amazing. That's why you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
So then you went from Ramirez to Thompson, but before that, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
So we come from a family of 7 siblings. There are 5 girls and 2 boys. I fall 5th in line. The age difference between the firstborn and the youngest is 16 years.
That's insane.
So yeah, so it was really great to grow up with a big family because, like I tell my kids now, I have Levi and Luke, 14 and 17 years old, and I say to them, it's so amazing to have the richness of family, and that in itself, in my opinion, is real wealth.
It is.
Because you have access to everyone's influence, from food, from fashion, from music. You're exposed to so much of it. So, you can go from listening to Los Bukis to Bretton Woods to,
to the new artists like that Luke and Levi are listening to.
Yes,
now,
exactly.
right?
I don't know who they are, but
hey, and the great thing, what I see with you and your sisters is that you girls hold each other accountable, and you're your best critics, and you call each other out, and you're like, ¿Qué estás pasando? Why are you wearing that? Take that off. No, don't do that. Like,
yeah. Or this will make it better.
Yeah.
Try this on.
Yeah.
This color would look amazing on you.
Yeah. Or try this. I don't want it anymore.
Oh yeah.
So I really like that about you and your family. So it's 9 of you.
Well, there's 7 siblings. Yeah, plus mom and dad.
It was 9.
Yes.
That's
and
incredible. Your parents had like day job, night job, like.
Well, yeah, and my dad was the, I don't want to say the breadwinner, because honestly, my mom was the hustler. She ran an in-house daycare for years. As long as I can remember, there were kids going through our household, and they would come back after they left the daycare. And my mom has always been a really special person to the community. I remember kids from the daycare bringing random kids to my mom's and say, he's got a stomachache, or he has this, make him better, like make him a tecito or something. And my mom was like, we can't do that.
She's a healer.
Okay, she's a healer. Some sopita and a tecito, and they were good.
And so are you.
Yes.
So are you.
Oh, thank you.
So you grew up with the family, which and I'm glad my boyfriend's not a celoso, but your brother was one of my first crushes in high school.
Yes.
Because I had one in elementary school. Pablo Ramirez. So we go way back. We had some fun times here in
Sereno. Yeah, we could have been sisters-in-laws.
I know. Damn it, Pablo. So, as far back as I remember to high school, you've always been fashionista. Your body is killing. You got the legs, the nalgas, the looks, the fashion, the style, and you worked in fashion.
Yes.
Right? And And if people were to see you on the street, they wouldn't think that you're this, restaurant owner, chef, running this empire. Like, you're a true fashionista. But from fashion, you started working in fashion, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, I think the proximity to downtown LA from El Sereno was always great because as far back as I can remember, back to school shopping was never done at the mall. It was never done at these, Mervyn's, like some of my other friends. We went into downtown and we actually purchased like samples for sample sales, and we would have access to so much because back then, I guess this was like in the early 90s, there was so much manufacturing going on in downtown LA. And that's how I landed my job. My first job was in the New Mart across the street from the California Mart. And across from there was the Cooper building, which had the outlets. I don't know if you remember the Guess outlets and Judy's outlet, and Contempo Fashions was owned by Judy's at the time. And it was just like, I remember getting so excited by it. It was like, it was this adrenaline that I had never felt before.
I feel it right now. That I remember.
Yes, and finding those deals and then knowing that nobody else was going to have it at school. And it was just always really, it was just a great form of expressing yourself. And I've always loved it. Although growing up in El Sereno and watching your back every now and then, you had to make sure you had the right dress.
Yeah. But it's true. It's like your fashion is a form of expression.
Yes.
It's healing and empowering.
Absolutely.
And when you look in the mirror and you look good, right?
Yeah.
How did you feel? Like you were strutting your stuff. And you would tell all of us, once, was it the first Friday of every month that they would have the sale?
The sample sales,
sample sales.
Yeah.
So we all learned from you and Julie and your sister. So we will go the first Fridays and get our great deals.
Yeah.
I had that experience.
But it was really great because, to be honest with you, when I first entered in the fashion industry, it was all run by mostly either gay white men or white women. And my girls and I, we were all in high school friends, and we all entered at the same time, and everyone was enamored by what we brought, the red lipstick, the bangs hoops. At the time, the hoops, and we started our own little trend within the fashion industry, which I thought was really amazing, and we were really embraced. And fast forward a few years later, I went away to school to UCSB. I transferred from ELAC, and I opened up my own showroom. And
you bought a showroom?
Yes, and
at the Cooper building.
At the Cooper building. Yes,
I remember getting some deals there.
Exactly. Yeah, and it was just really great because most of the time I was always probably the only Mexican girl in the room. But I don't know, I just embraced it. If anything, I felt like I brought something to the table, and it felt really good. Did. Yeah.
And then I know that you met Brett, your husband, who's amazing, and you guys are such great partners. You met him through your partner or your experience at the Mart, right?
Yeah, so we had the Nikki and Lucy showroom. Nikki Young is my mentor and dear friend, and I was dating the bad boys of East LA.
I remember all of them, checking them off.
And she was like, honey, you need to find a nice Jewish boy.
Wow.
And she introduced me to Brett Thompson. And
he's a nice Jewish boy.
Yeah. He's a nice Jewish boy.
And you got married really young. You guys have been married how long now?
22 years.
What a blessing.
Yeah, we've been together for 26 years.
And in doing my research, I know that your partnership started, he was very supportive of your showroom. Mm-hmm. And then you guys opened up Milk, because he used to be a chef. Take us through Milk, Market, Pez Coastal, and now a seasoning line.
Boom!
We celebrate with fresh champagne.
I love it. I brought mezcal.
Yeah. Tell us about that journey.
Well,
he was a chef for
he was a chef for the Patina Group, and they sent him to Europe to train with some of the best chefs in Europe. And during that time, that's when I was at UCSB. So then I came back, started working in the showroom with Nikki, and then Brett came back from Europe, and it was really amazing because he spent most of the time in the kitchen with my mom, because he could not believe how intricate Mexican cuisine was. He thought it was just tacos and burritos because he grew up in Chatsworth in the Valley, and he wasn't exposed to maybe as much richness or the inside scoop of of a Mexican household. And I would be like, hello, Brett, I'm over here. Like, he was so into my mom. And what are you doing? And how do you do that? And wait, this is, like, this is as complex, if not, more so than European cuisine. Yeah. So I think that that's where his first love of Mexican food was really established. So he branched off, left Patina, opened up Milk. We gave birth to our first son, Levi, in 2007. So I focused on my career, he focused on his, and then Milk blew up. I don't know if you remember.
I remember. It was on a couple of shows, right?
Yeah, it was on a couple of shows.
And it was a beautiful restaurant.
Yeah, and all the celebrity-driven clientele. Yeah. It was really amazing. And the landlord at the Cooper building where I opened up my showroom asked me to open up a Milk in the lobby. And our partner at the time was like, no, I don't want to open up in downtown. So we opened up Market. Then I got pregnant with our second son, or we got pregnant. And it was just really hard to be in the fashion industry as a new, well, not a new mom, but a newborn baby, because I was like,
you had two kids.
I have two kids now, and I was traveling to New York, to Texas, to San Francisco, sometimes to Europe, to all these shows, and I would like,
how fun.
It was fun, but not while you're nursing and you're pumping in airports and you're overnighting your breast milk. It was like intense, and Brett was like, dude, like, come do the catering side. You're a great salesperson.
You are.
And yeah, I was like, where's the money? The financial district.
Hey, we can't lie. We need the money.
We do need the money. So we started catering a lot in the financial district. And then we were invited to open up Pez Cantina.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I got to see Market as well. And that was another beautiful restaurant. I have to say that your design aesthetic, both of you, combined, is really beautiful. It's very fashion. So I feel when I've walked into all of your restaurants, I feel fabulous. Oh. Like I belong here. And this is my friend's restaurant. So I really like that. And it's very special. You're special. So you leave fashion and you join forces with your husband full force. Mm-hmm. And that's when like real magic started happening.
That's when real magic started happening.
Because you secured, tell us about Pez.
So Pez Cantina on Grand Avenue on Bunker Hill. We opened that up.
Bunker Hill.
A girl from El Sereno. Girl, let's go.
We got to celebrate that because our parents they don't expect that.
No. And it was a big accomplishment. And I'm so proud of it. Like,
we're proud of you. We're so proud of you. Everyone from Wilson, like, everyone knows that's Lucy's, not Brett's restaurant. That's Lucy's restaurant.
Yeah. And we're turning 10 this upcoming January. 10 years. In restaurant years, that's
dog years.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's a lifetime. Yeah. So I mean, the goal was always to like really leave a stamp in the community, and I feel like we've given Mexican food a really great name, and I just, my favorite part is just like, I love to throw a party. I love to be hospitable. I love to see my friends there, and every day I get to live that with Pez Cantina and now Pez Coastal Kitchen in Pasadena.
I want to hear that conversation that took place when you or Brett were talking and you said, let's take this big risk. Let's take a chance. Let's pay big lease on Bunker. Like, that's crazy.
It was crazy. And honestly, it's funny. I'm glad you brought that up because we like to go fishing in Loreto and Baja, and we bring everything chopped up, ready to make ceviche, and then the guys go out and catch the fish, and they sashimi it right then and there, and then we mix it in with all the stuff, and we eat ceviche.
Delicioso.
And we were like, the grill making fish tacos, and Brett's like, dude, we need to open something up like this in LA. And I was like, yeah, like a cute little stand somewhere, and then fast forward, like we were invited to open up this restaurant. We're like, we're doing a Pez Cantina there. And
because you started popping up, I started seeing you popping up, doing random pop-ups. Yeah, we got to bring that up because you're talking to pop-up queens here.
Yeah.
So, and you told me we're trying this out in, we're en route to
we were raising money, and as you can imagine, it was like a big budgeted like endeavor, but we were able to get some investors and take out like a few loans. And one thing that Brett and I always believe in is to just go all in. Like, we're risk takers, and if you believe in it, there's no reason why it won't succeed.
Not only do you believe in it, Lucy, but what I've seen from you and your family, you all have incredible work ethic. you were always working. I remember seeing you in the showroom pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
You were about to give birth.
Oh, yeah.
And you were there like till the week before,
Yeah, I
right?
think we had a sample sale the
Yeah,
day before
and
I
your
gave
belly
birth.
was like up to here. You had the coffee on top. And that's admirable because I know how hard it is. And raising two kids, you know, trying to have a beautiful, nurturing relationship and investing in a business on Bunker Hill. That's incredible. A girl from El Sereno.
That's right.
With humble roots. You know, I
Yes.
remember stories from
Immigrant roots.
I know how your parents, you know, came over the border. Your sister told me that
Yes.
story. So I really admire you, and I'm very, very proud of you and Brett and what you've done to increase visibility through food in our communities, and to know and to be able to brag my friend is in downtown LA. And I want you to talk to me about the interior, the design, because walking into this magical space, you know, it does reflect a lot. You can tell that a Latina is running this space. I'm sure Brett is very inspired by you, but what about this decor?
Well,
Pez
Pez Cantina, Pez Cantina will
Cantina.
begin there because we learned about all these different artisans in Tlaquepaque, in Tonolá, in Guadalajara. And so we went out to Jalisco and we met with all these mostly women manufacturers, which women.
Fascinating, right?
Yes, amazing women. And they custom made like our light fixtures, our bar stools, our tables, everything was
your glassware.
Even our glassware is all, yeah. And that used to come from San Miguel de Allende in Guanajuato, which is, we're from Guanajuato. So it was like
a beautiful,
great pride to just really have. I remember even we had this like giant pallet delivered to Pez Cantina, and we had all of our staff unwrapping everything, and I was like, save every made in Mexico sticker, because I just had so much pride in making sure that everything was authentic and it was, you know, custom made and handmade.
And I noticed that when I went, I noticed that even the napkins, the lamps, the lights, the glasses, the forks, I was like, so much love went into that project.
Oh, the chip baskets, they're made out of pine needles. These women who weave pine needles into baskets. It's like,
that's beautiful. And your really chips, beautiful. By the way, are amazing. They're made there at the restaurant.
They're made
right?
there at the restaurant every 15 minutes. I know. With our chile lime seasoning, our boom. I should have brought you some.
I know. That's okay. But before we continue our inspiring conversation, we want to acknowledge our sponsor, New Economics for Women. New helps individuals and families improve their income, wealth, assets, social, and educational status across generations. Their focus on education, entrepreneurship, and home ownership prepares communities to thrive. Thank you, New. Now let's get back to our conversation filled with fashionista flair. I'm going to talk about that too. Okay. So, Pez Cantina, it takes off.
It takes off.
And it's a restaurant, but it's also a bar, and there's entertainment, and you host a lot of events there, and it brings community together. Mm-hmm. And then you said, this is not enough.
Yes.
We want more.
We want more.
So what happened then?
Well, I think during the pandemic, as great as it was to be on Bunker Hill for all those years, it was probably the worst place to be in during a pandemic because everyone in the office left. And so Brett and I reconvened and we thought we want to open up something else. We opened up a mini Pez Cantina at the Boulevard in Montebello during that time, but we wanted something bigger.
During pandemic, you opened it
during pandemic, yeah.
That is crazy.
I know. Just totally risk-taking. But, you know, as much as I'd like to say, like, it took off and we were doing well, we also have always made it a point to give back. We participate in so much nonprofit activity. We donate as much as we can. We have mentorship programs. We do ESL classes for our staff, where we partner up people who don't speak Spanish and don't speak English and learn the restaurant terminology. So it's just, you know, it really has
everyone's
been about
learning
community, and the biggest value for us has always been family, and so we wanted to grow our business and extend it into a residential area. So Pasadena has a little bit of everything. There's the tourism, there's a lot of residential, and it's still within our San Gabriel Valley community.
Pasadena, okay. Pez Pez Coastal Restaurant. That restaurant is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And just walking in and the first impression that you get with the greenery and that half wall, I was blown away by it. It's so beautiful, and I think it's the most beautiful restaurant in Pasadena. Honestly.
And what a transformation from what it used to be.
Yeah, right? Wasn't it a cool bar? Like,
yeah, it was a Slater.
Yeah, like slippery floors.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. And you have fish on display, the fish that we're going to eat for the day. And so tell us about that. How did you decide, like, this is the space, this is what we want?
Well, a friend of ours knew the landlord and introduced us. And we wanted to expand, but believe it or not, as much as you think it's easy to open up a new business, a lot of landlords are hesitant to give you a lease, especially to a restaurant, because they feel like restaurants are one of the hardest businesses to operate. Yeah. But so he really wanted to transition into, upgrading the building, and we fell in love with the building. It was built in I want to say 1901 or it's very old. And we going through the process, we got to see all the different multi-use that it's had. It used to be a YMCA. It used to be I think a flower warehouse, with grains and stuff back when they had a horse and buggies. But what I thought was really fascinating was you would never know because it was pretty run down. It's an old building, but the floors are originals and they were caked on with paint and grease and I don't know what. And we have this amazing guy who is a big believer in restoring things. So there were all these like beautiful discoveries, little treasures that we discovered. The floors, when we stripped them down, they're this beautiful wood, and next time you notice they look brand new, but they're old, they're original.
You preserved
we preserved them, restored them. The door in the front, we're like, this is a beautiful door. We thought it was wood, so again, stripped, layers and layers of paint, and they're brass. And it's just it's just and even just the exposed brick wall, I think, is really
it's
cool.
Romantic.
We worked around it,
even the bathrooms. I walked in, I was like, who decorated this?
Yeah.
And you decorated it yourself.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we had professional help, but it was all of our ideas, sitting there with swatches and putting color stories together and finding inspiration a lot from Baja. Baja, Baja.
It's so convenient because it's not too far away. There's a lot of artisans. Coastal, so there's a lot of inspiration, in terms of the water and the ocean and the fish. So it's perfect for Pez Cantina.
Yeah.
And how is the menu different from Pez?
Well, I like to refer it as we have our Pez Cantina is our mariscos, our Mexican seafood house, and Pez Coastal Kitchen is our American seafood house. Or I want to say more like Californian cuisine, because you'll find ceviches and you'll find Lebanese and you'll find, homemade pastas and you'll find, so it's just a little bit, I mean, we even have chicken and waffles for brunch.
It's a little more fancy. Really like the plates and all the fanciness. I felt important and special.
You are important and special.
I'm glad that you did that for this restaurant, because it's nice to go there to celebrate anything special there. And my favorite dish, my mouth is getting watery right now. My favorite dish at Pez, believe it or not, is the green pozole. Your mom, and it's your mom's recipe.
My mom's recipe, yeah.
And I remember I went when it first opened, and I had the pozole for it was the mimosa, all you can drink brunch. My amigas se emborracharon ahí. That's a great deal, by the way. And I had the pozole. I was like, Guille, I told your sister, what pozole is that? She's my mom's recipe. So you gotta give me that recipe. She was like, no, that's top secret. I can't share. And I finally convinced her, because she hosted a sample sale. She sells the clothes at my home. She's like, I'm going to teach you, but I'm going to swear you to secrecy. So I know some of the recipe. I don't know it that well. She refused to write it down. It's the best pozole I've tried.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And that's why when I go there, I do feel like the presence of your family, of your mom, and every dish. Also the grilled octopus.
So good.
Delicious.
Yeah. And my dad's stamp are the carnitas. That's his recipe.
I haven't tried the carnitas.
Yeah. The carnitas are very, very good. Yeah. But the pozole verde, it's so good. And it's so good whether it's cold or hot.
What's your favorite dish?
My favorite dish it sounds so boring, but honestly, for me, it's like a bowl of rice and beans and just like the chicken tinga and the spicy sauce. And oh, it's
That's
so good.
perfect.
I know. It
And
makes my mouth water.
Yeah,
Like, and some chips sprinkled on top.
It's dinner time. So then you open the Pez Coastal and you still say it's not enough. It's still not enough. I'm gonna start a seasoning line that represents Pez. And you're not even calling it or naming it Pez, right? Tell us about your seasoning.
Yeah. Well, so when we first opened up Pez Cantina in downtown, we wanted to create chips that were just so memorable. And so, you know, you can tell if a restaurant is good if the chips and salsa are good, right?
That's right.
So we didn't do one salsa, we did 8 salsas. Like, you know, what's your flavor? You want, you know, tomato, tomatillo, you want
habanero. There's the roasted jalapeno.
Roasted jalapeno. Those are my two favorites.
I'm a fan. I'm not just a friend. I'm a fan.
Okay. Yeah, so we would put the seasoning on the chips. It was like, you know, our own like chili lime seasoning. And people were like, what is on the chips? And I was like, oh, we make this chili lime powder that's so good. And we use it to rim our margaritas, our micheladas, our seared ají tuna, our French fries. I mean, it was like cross utilization. And so people started asking me, and I would put them in little, like, okay, here, take it home. And then every time they come, oh, can I get some more? And I was like, girl, I'm going to start charging you for that.
You're thinking business, right? Like, how can I capitalize on this?
No, but so I printed out little Avery labels, and I called it Pez powder. And just in little jars, and had it up on display, and it was just flying off the shelf.
Wow.
So we're like, oh my God, we have something here. So, you know, we took it a step further. We went to a co-packer, gave them our recipe. They started jarring it up for us. We hired someone to do our labels and our logo, and it was amazing. We put so much work into it, and it was amazing, incredible, and rewarding. And we got it into stores. It was at Bristol Farms.
Wow.
It was at Super King Foods. It was at we had a test run with Ralph's, with Bonds. But, you know, it didn't retail. And I remember someone telling me, Pez powder, what does that even mean? Like, people are going to think it's a fish, or people think it's the candy, or like you're, you know. So I was like, I was all mad, and I put it on the shelf, and I didn't want to think about it for a while. And people kept asking for it, and people kept asking for it. And we had a website, and people kept, you know, sending requests for orders. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's rebrand it. My girlfriends and I would go to Lake Arrowhead to do Girls Getaway, and we do vision boards. So I was like, girls, I'm thinking of a name. What do you guys think? And they're like, okay, things with 2 O's resonate well with people, like Google or Zoom, or, you know, and I opened up the first magazine, and the word boom just jumped out of the page. And I thought, okay, there it is, boom. And you add some boom to your, add some boom to your food.
I like that.
Yeah. So we rebranded, and now we're like slowly but surely. I want to do it right. I want to do it organic. I want to, like, you know, my dream, to be honest with you, is when I drive by and you see the fruteros selling their fruit.
Yeah.
I want to see boom instead of tajin.
Yeah.
That's my
You're
dream.
going to see it. We're going to see it.
Yes, we're going to see it. We're
going to see it.
And as soon as I can, and when I can afford it, I'm just going to distribute it for free to all the fruteros, eloteros.
We could carry it here. You know, we have honey, and we're trying to promote local businesses and local women launches and our local community's talent. Yeah. And you definitely have that. And I know that anyone that buys that product, not only are they going to enjoy it, they're going to be inspired by it. Mm-hmm. You know, because I say, like Diosa lipstick that we're both wearing, by the way, we got to do the plug, the Crown Sacred Bathing, OG. This is actually classic, but everything else, OG Amiga.
Well, I'm going to shop after.
Yeah, we're going to shop. It's going to be open, VIP. But I know that it's important to support each other, to buy from each other, because when we support each other, we're actually helping a whole entire community. So you count on us to have your powder at our humble boutique. But we're so proud of all the work that you're doing, how you're growing. And I know that you're not only going to launch the powder, you're going to launch a full seasoning
Yeah, so there's 3 different flavors. There's the original, which is the chili and lime, and then we've got the chipotle, which is like a smoky black that pairs really nice with like a nice mezcal, and then the jalapeno, which is spicy. And I take that to the movie theater and I just sprinkle it on my chips. I mean,
travel size.
size.
That's important.
But you know, it's also important to know that all of the ingredients in the chili lime spice, they're all organic. They're all clean ingredients. Like, you know, sometimes you look at a label and it's got all these chemicals. Yeah. We use rice flour as an anti-caking agent, which is a natural way of keeping it. I mean, it's going to clump up no matter what, but that's when you know that there's not a lot of chemicals in it, because, you know, you use it so freely. And honestly, for me, when we first created it, it was a way to get my kids to eat more veggies, to eat, you know, the fruit was easier, but like cucumber, edamame, broccoli, like anything green, you sprinkle it on and it's delicious. Or even when you're trying to eat healthier en la dieta, or te estás cuidando.
Sí, nos
like,
estamos
yeah.
And that's my next question, because you, again, mother of 2 children, you're a wife, full-time mom, full-time sister, and you're always with your parents. I see them at all the papas, at all your events. And you own Pez in downtown on Bunker Hill, Pez in Montebello, Pez Coastal, and now the seasoning business. What do you do to take care of you, to look like this, to always exude that beauty, confidence, joy? Like, what we need to know, because we need to do the same. How do you make you a priority?
Well, I promised myself that I give myself an allocated time, no matter, I mean, fortunately, you know, I'm not in a position where I have to be at work from 9 to 5, because 9 to 5 are the worst hours of the day, right? So I work from maybe like 11:30 to like 7 or 8, which you can avoid traffic. But I like to walk my dog. I like to work out. I used to go to the gym, but after the pandemic, I made a makeshift at home gym, and I just love it there. Like, it's my sanctuary. And you know, there's a saying in Spanish, "Oh, pero tú te cuidas," and I'm like, when you translate it like "tú te cuidas," todos hay que cuidarnos. Like, it's taking care of yourself, because an unhappy Lucy is an unhappy boss. It's an unhappy mom, unhappy wife, unhappy everything. So I think it's, you know, really important that we don't forget to take care of ourselves. And maybe it sounds arrogant, maybe it sounds superficial, but I want to feel good, because I want to be the very best Lucy I can be to everybody around me.
I like this, Lucy. I like this fabulous, selfish Lucy.
Yes, it's okay. We have to be selfish sometimes, because ultimately you're giving it back. You know, how much joy is it? I mean, being here with you right now, honestly, is bringing me so much joy. Seriously.
So much fun. I think sharing all this with me, I'm like, we need to hang out, because your experience, you are also a mentor. And I've heard you speak, and you're a really excellent speaker. You have a lot of knowledge that you could infuse into our community to help it improve, to help it grow, to inspire us. And you know what you shared today is very inspiring, because you are unstoppable. Now, the real question, because you're a fashionista activista, since I've known you, you've been so fabulously dressed always, even on your downtime. Even when I've gone over and you're like walking out of the bedroom, what are your favorite outfits, your favorite prendas, your favorite look?
Okay, my go-to right now, I'm really into wide leg anything. Wide leg pants, slacks, jeans, whatever. And then I just, you know, as my kids are getting older, they're financially getting more expensive, and I'm sure you can relate. So now I find college, and you know, Luke just started Loyola High School, and so I'm just like, and there was a time where I could fly to New York and go shopping in Soho. Those days are done.
But it's going to pay off.
It will pay off. So now I find my inspiration in boutiques like this or secondhand stores. I'm a big believer in like thrifting, and I feel like being in the fashion industry and seeing how things are manufactured and how we're losing the quality of a good garment and good fabrics and good sustainable fabrics like cottons and silks are becoming obsolete.
You've seen the process, right? Because you started like 15.
I started when I was 15, and like I said, everything was manufactured in LA. Dyeing, printing, sewing, cutting, like there was all everything was made in LA, and I witnessed it through my experience as everything started going overseas and people started having a demand for fast fashion. And not to say fast fashion is not, good, but it's not good for like artists. It's not good for the fabrics you're putting against your body and the chemicals
made
you're putting.
Out of plastic.
Yes. And it's like you wear it once or twice and then all of a sudden they're going to put it in a landfill. So I like going into, and finding like the old labels and seeing like made in the USA or 100% wool, 100% cotton, 100% silk or a combination.
Even an old Judy's label or an old Contempo. I'm like, Contempo, Judy's, like, oh my God, Rampage. Yeah. Like, those are the good old times. But yes, thrifting is in.
And I like it. It's sustainable. It's inspiring. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll go through a little bit of social media and find an inspiration for an outfit.
And then I'm
like, and then I'm like, oh, I can put that together. My closet.
I can do it better.
Yeah.
I really like looking at your outfits, and you always look so well put together and so youthful and so fun and so badass and so boss lady, which is your personal Instagram, right?
Yes.
Pez Boss Lady. So we can promote that. Where can we find you? How can we get a hold of all of your brands so that we can come and support or be inspired?
Well, Pez Cantina in downtown LA on Grand Avenue, Pez Coastal Kitchen in Old Town Pasadena, and Boom Chili and Lime Spice coming to a market near you.
And you have Instagrams for all of these?
Yes, there's Instagrams for all of them.
Boom too?
Boom, yep. Boom Chili and Lime Spice. I can't remember now, but you'll find it under Boom Chili and Lime. Oh, that's what it is. Boom Chili and Lime, and then Pez Cantina and Pez Pasadena is our handle.
You have so many talents. You have so much joy and ambition that all of us are I've been a fan. I'm so glad that you mentioned the thrift, because we are expanding our thrift walk at the Goddess Mercado. Come and support.
Absolutely.
And shop from us, and maybe you can come and distribute some Boom powder, and we could do something really boom and fun. And I know you have a big surprise for your family. I'm not sure if you're able to share, because this is not going to air just yet. I think by the time it airs, should we wait?
We can wait. There's a couple of surprises. Yes.
Excited. Aww. Thank you so much, Lucy, for joining us, for being inspiration, for being a leading lady, and I can't wait to see you on billboards and at different markets and commercials, and really helping educate the rest of us with what you've done.
Thank you, Diana. Right back at you.
Con todo mi corazón, we want to thank New Economics for Women, SoCal Gas, and Kaiser Permanente, and to you, our beautiful listeners, for being the heartbeat of Fashionista Activista. Vamos adelante with more stories, more laughter, and moments of inspiration that knit our communities ever so close. Make sure to subscribe and follow us on social media. Hasta la próxima, goddesses.